Good morning, my dear friends. In the previous classes, we have discussed about this respiratory infections. Now, we will go for intestinal infections. The important topics I am covering, the smaller subject chapters, you can read from the textbook. Only certain diseases I am covering. You ask me whichever you want, in addition to the chapters I have covered. If you want, it is more important and it should be known to you, then you ask me, definitely I will cover it. But as the time is short and we are going with important diseases which are having much public health importance and which are important for your examinations. After respiratory infections, we will go for intestinal infections. Intestine. It starts from mouth and ends with the anus. This gastrointestinal system. It starts with the lips and ends with anus. Infection anywhere due to any reason, that is called intestinal infection. From lips to anus, the organs, you know, what are in axillary, in addition to the tract, there are liver and all these other things also. And saprophytes are there, bacterial infections which cause typhoid, virus which cause poliomyelitis, hepatitis A, B, like that, C, E, and protozoa, mainly amoebiasis, which is more common in our areas. Helminths, these are the unwanted guests, uninvited guests. Helminths like hookworm, roundworm, tapeworm, etc. In addition to this, we are having food poisoning, malignancies, cancers of the gastrointestinal tract, especially of the esophagus, cancer rectum, cancer of stomach, like this. And then foreign bodies. Some people may swallow even toothbrushes. Some people, one of my classmates, he has swallowed 1 rupee coin when we were in 7th class. And another fellow, he has swallowed a blade, like that, foreign bodies, injuries to the gastrointestinal tract, and some mechanical problems will be there. About these, which are more important and which are having public health importance, we'll discuss. Now you see, who is that person? I think most of you can recognize. Who is he? Dr. K.S. Jawahar Reddy is the Chief Secretary for Health now. When he was the collector, East Godavari district, this photograph was taken. Is Dr. Chakkar Rao, is the world famous anesthetist from Kakinada, and he is your teacher. And then, what is this? The students like you, I think by this time, you understand what topic I am going to tell. See this picture. In 2007, when I was the Chief Health Officer of Vijayawada Municipal Corporation, Chief Medical and Health Officer of Vijayawada Municipal Corporation, the Pulse Polio program we have conducted. At that time, we want to give wide publicity to the public about the Pulse Polio. Then I used these animals, camels, horses, and all these animals from the circus. I have brought them. One of the circus worker, he came to me as a patient, and then I asked them, not as a patient, for license he has come. Okay. As a doctor, I am very much fond of patients. Okay. Then I have used my good office to utilize his animals in the circus for this rally. Why? Because though we are so advanced Though we say that we are the highest species, we can get the polio, but these animals can't get the polio. Nowhere in the world the animals got polio. There is no incidence of polio among the animals. That's why, as the animals are telling that we are having that opportunity of not having polio, you protect yourself from the polio by taking the polio drops, by observing the pulse polio program. For that sake, I have used this one, rally by animals. Now, as you are aware by these three pictures, we are going to discuss about poliomyelitis, which is a very important disease, and we'll go further with poliomyelitis. Poliomyelitis is an acute viral infection. It is not chronic. It is acute viral infection caused by an RNA virus. It is caused by RNA virus, primarily an infection of the alimentary tract, gastrointestinal tract. Primarily, it is the infection of the alimentary tract, but the virus may spread to central nervous system, primarily of intestine. Then it may spread to CNS, nervous system. It is not primarily of nervous disease. It is not primarily of the muscle disease. It is the infection of the alimentary tract. Also in small percentages of cases, resulting in varying degrees of paralysis and possibly death also. This may result in various degrees of paralysis. Some people affected with polio may lose one lower limb. Some people may lose both lower limbs. Some people may lose 4 limbs. In rare cases, if it affects the respiratory muscles like diaphragm, intercostal muscles, then you know the death will occur. The death will occur. But it is rare. It is reported, but it is rare, a lesser percentage. So primarily it is the infection of the alimentary tract, which may spread to CNS, central nervous system. If you go into the history of the polio, polio was first said to have occurred in ancient Egyptians. 1789, that is 1789, the first known case description of polio was done by Dr. Underwood described the disease first in 1789, that is 230 years back. Am I right? 230 years back, yeah. Underwood has described this disease first. And then in 1834, the first epidemic of polio in the island of Saint Helena, it has occurred. The first epidemic occurred in 1834 in Saint Helena. 1855, the first description of the pathological process involved in the polio by Duchenne. 1855, the pathological process involved in polio was described by Duchenne. In 1908, transmission of polio to monkey by Landsteiner. He identified the transmission of polio to the monkey. Monkeys are our ancestors. In 1949, the growth of the virus by tissue culture was done. 1949. 1951, 3 types of poliovirus isolated and identified. 3 types of poliovirus were isolated and identified. 1954, first large-scale trial of Salk vaccine by injection form. Salk vaccine was identified in 1954. 1958, the first general use of Sabin vaccine by oral route. 58. This has changed the complete scenario of the polio disease, poliomyelitis in the world. The Sabin, hats off to Sabin, who has contributed much for this health of the people. In 1958, this came into general use. The problem statement in the world from 1988, with the implementation of the eradication strategies, polio has been eradicated from almost all the regions of America, West Pacific, and Europe. Only in the regions of SER, Southeast Asian region, and Eastern Mediterranean and Africa, the cases were reported in 1988. If you see, you can see the people aged more than 40 years with polio. You can see in less number the people with aged between 15 years, above 15 years. But less than 10 years children, you cannot find even a single case of polio now. Even if you want to see a clinical case of polio, it is impossible now. So, you see, 100 years back, 50 years back, the polio cases were rampant. But now, with the efforts of the medical fraternity, the profession, medical profession, our elders, our brothers, senior brothers, and the paramedical, and as a whole, with the community participation, we have eradicated this polio. And now we are not seeing even a single case in India. 1988, if you see, there were 350,000 cases across 125 countries. Across 125 countries, 1988, the poliomyelitis was a burden for 125 countries, and the case load was 3.5 lakhs. Global Polio Eradication Initiative, Global Polio Eradication Initiative was started with the cooperation of this World Health Organization, Rotary International, CDC, UNICEF, and Gates. With the efforts of GPI, that's Global Polio Eradication Initiative, we have done all these things. Some of your parents might be the Rotarians. Thanks to them, thanks to the Rotary International, who have contributed a large for this polio eradication. Every drop of polio vaccine, it was supplied by Rotary International. Each dose of polio vaccine is supplied by Rotary International. Each dose costs about 8 rupees. 8 rupees. Throughout the world, the Rotary International has sponsored the vaccine. They have sponsored, they have taken it as their own project, and they have contributed a lot in eradication of this poliomyelitis. Sometimes dreadful, sometimes mortality maker, sometimes even if he is alive, he is with disfigurement and he is with handicappedness, losing, not working, one or both limbs or 4 limbs may not be working. So it is a burden for himself, for his family, for the community. Such a dangerous situation has been removed from the world with the help of Rotary International. In 1999, type 2 was eradicated. There are 3 types of virus, we will go in detail. Type 1, type 2, type 3. Among them, type 2 was eradicated in 1999. 1995, the Pulse Polio program has come in India. It has been started. Within 4 years, the type 2 was eradicated. November 2012, type 3, last case was seen in Nigeria. 2012, type 3, the last case was seen in Nigeria. On 27th March 2014, the 0 is missing there. On 27th March 2014, WHO declared Southeast Asian region certified as polio-free. 27/3/2014. Even in the recent times, the pain was the major problem. Pain means the 4 countries, Pakistan, Afghanistan, India, and Nigeria. Later, India has become polio-free. It has become PAN. And now the Nigeria has also stopped it, and Pakistan and Afghanistan, they are having some of the cases, very few cases, very few cases. And but we are afraid that the Pakistan is our neighbor, and the people are trespassing. They are coming by walk, by bullock carts from their country into our country, carrying the polio virus. We are afraid of that one. And even now, we should not sleep. We should be alert in maintaining this polio freeness. India, the last case was identified. Last wild polio case was identified on January 13th, that is Sankranti Day, Sankranti, in 2011 in Kakinada, some 80 Moga, I think. In 2011, January 13th, the last case of wild polio virus was identified in India. During the months of March to June 2016, that is just 4 years back, in Hyderabad, the cases were reported as polio. The specimens from the sewage, they were tested and identified to be vaccine-derived polio virus. Vaccine-derived polio virus, but it is not wild polio, and it belongs to type 2. So at that time, fraction dose of inactivated polio vaccine, FIPV, fraction dose of inactivated polio vaccine was given to all the people. First mass vaccination campaign for FIPV was done in Hyderabad. In Hyderabad, our sister state, our brother state. It was the first vaccination campaign for this fraction dose of inactivated polio vaccine. Within 14 days of isolation of the virus, this has occurred within 14 days. There's such a fast action they have taken, and estimated coverage was 94%. By that, even now, even the vaccine-derived polio viruses also has become less. If you see the location of the polio virus, you see Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, those are rampant. 2000, 2001, and 2000, you see, 2001, it is segregated to certain places, and then 2002, again, number of cases have increased, 265, 268, and 1600 cases. It is due to surveillance of acute flaccid paralysis, active surveillance. That is, the good surveillance has given the good results, the 1600 cases. In 2003, it was again only 225 cases, 2004, 134, and 2005, 57 cases like that. By 2011, it has become to 0. By 2011, it has come to 0. Now, if we discuss these agent factors, what is the agent for this poliomyelitis? The causative agent is poliovirus, which belongs to the family Picornaviridae. Picornaviridae. The virion, which is a single RNA virus, it is a single strand. RNA virus consists of 4 viral proteins arranged in icosahedral symmetry. Icosahedral symmetry. VPI, which is located outside the virion, is the major antigenic site. VPI, which is located outside the virion, it is the major antigenic site. By neutralization test, poliovirus has been classified into 3 types, as we have discussed. That is type 1, type 2, type 3. The type 1, what is the specialty of type 1? Most common and causes most epidemics. Type 1, it is the most common one, and it causes most epidemics. That's why type 2 has been eradicated, type 3 has been eradicated, type 1 still in certain epidemics where there is a new case, mop-up programs, we use monovalent vaccine, that is type 1, monovalent, specific. Type 2 usually causes epidemic infection, endemic infection. Type 2 is endemic. Type 1 is epidemic. Type 2 is endemic. Type 3 causes epidemics. Type 3 also causes epidemics. This also has been eradicated. Immunity to poliovirus is type specific. Immunity to type 1 may not protect, it will not protect from type 2 virus or type 3 virus. Like that, it is type specific. Poliovirus. This is what we have called icosahedral appearance. Reservoir of infection. If we come to the reservoir of infection, man is the only known source of infection. No other thing. Only man. Man is that to children mainly. We think that the feces of children is not harmful, and it should not be looked down. But the feces of children contain more viri. It is more dangerous. It is more pathogenic. Please mind it. Children's feces is more dangerous. Man is the only source of infection. Most of the infections are subclinical. It is mild and subclinical cases that play a dominant role in the spread of infection. Here, if you take 100 cases, out of 100, 90 to 95 cases, they are subclinical. They may not show any symptoms, asymptomatic. Even now, COVID also, more than 80% are asymptomatic. Like that, here also, if you take 1,000 cases, more than 900 cases are asymptomatic, subclinical. They will abort. The disease will abort among them. And but these cases which are subclinical or which abort the disease without showing any symptoms, these are very dangerous because these will play an important role in spreading the infection. The infectious material, I have told about 900 out of 1,000. Among the remaining 100, 90 cases, they will be mild. They show slight fever, pain in the muscles like that, and they will go away. The remaining 10 out of 1,000, these may show the symptoms of paralysis. That means if you see one case of polio, there are 100 persons harboring the virus in their intestines, which can spread to the others. If one person exhibits the disease, there are 99 people who are spreading the disease in the community. So we must be careful about those 99, because those 99 will spread to 990 like that, which will spread like anything. Infectious material. What is the infectious material? The virus is found in the feces and oropharyngeal secretions of infected person. Feces and oropharyngeal. That end and this end, both ends. Half-life of virus is 48 hours in sewage. 48 hours in sewage, and spread can occur during this period. The first 48 hours is highly infectious. It is half-lifetime of that is in the sewage. Coming to the host factors, age. Polio is mostly a disease of infancy and childhood. Less than 5 years, these people are more prone. Less than 5 years, these are vulnerable. First, they thought of 6 months to 5 years, and that's why the vaccination program, the first dose of polio was given at 6 weeks, and thinking that the maternal antibodies will come to the baby. But when a case of polio has occurred in a 2 weeks baby, 2 to 3 weeks baby, then they have started zero polio. Zero polio means soon after the birth, on the first day itself. As soon as the child comes into this world, he must be protected from polio. That's why zero polio, it is not the first dose, it is zero polio, it is called zero polio. It should not be called as first dose because already the name of first dose has been given to the dose which is given in the 6 weeks time, 6 weeks of age. Second dose 10 weeks, third dose 14 weeks. So these names are fixed. That's why the dose what we are giving at the time of birth, that is on the first day, that is called zero polio. So first they thought of 6 months to 3 years, but later by observation, it is not so. So we are giving that one. Sex. If you take the sex, the good people, women, they are protected more. Women are protected more. Males is to females, the disease ratio will be 3:1. The girls are protected more. How? We do not know. Because they have to rear the children and they are having more responsibility and they are good. They might have been protected. The ratio is 3:1. Children. And this, if you take the sex, males, for every 3 males, only 1 female is infected. And then immunity. Immunity following infection is fairly solid, although reinfection can occur since infection with one type does not protect completely against the other 2 types. Protection due to one type will not protect from the protection from the other 2 types. It is specific, type specific. So reinfection may occur when you give monovalent or bivalent vaccine. But if you give trivalent vaccine, it is completely protected. Pregnancy. Pregnant woman seems liable to paralytic polio and have severe attacks. Women, girls under 5, they are more protective than the males. But if you take the pregnant woman, they are liable for paralytic polio and have severe attacks, possibly due to some endocrine factors connected with pregnancy. You can talk with the gynecologist about this one. You can you can share this knowledge with the gynecologist also. Infection in the first trimester. If this polio infection has occurred in the first trimester of pregnancy, it may be associated with fetal death. If it occurs in the first trimester, it may lead to fetal death than when it occurs in the later months of pregnancy. So during the first 3 months, first trimester of pregnancy, we must be very careful. Risk factors. Fatigue. Some people, some children, they are easily fatigable. Any trauma, intramuscular injections. That's why, as far as possible, lessen the injections, give oral route. Operative procedures such as tonsillectomy during epidemics of polio. If there is epidemic of polio in one area, in one district or one state, then constrain to stop the tonsillectomies. This tonsillectomy will lead to, it is a risk factor for the development of polio. Tonsillectomy also, I should not encroach into that one. Okay. Administration of immunizing agents like aluminum containing DPT. Administration of immunizing agents like aluminum containing DPT. Environmental factors. Polio is more likely to occur during rainy season. Rainy season, it is more. The environmental sources of infection are contaminated water, contaminated food, these flies that stand or sit on the feces, contaminated feces. the flies, they don't take bath. They sit on the feces containing virus, polio virus, and then without bath, it will come and sit on the eatables. Like that, it will transmit. It is mechanical transmission, not biological. Polio virus survives for a long time in a cold environment. Any virus for that matter, it survives for longer time in cold environment. It cannot tolerate heat. It cannot tolerate, even HIV, even this corona, anything, they can't tolerate much heat. Overcrowding and poor sanitation provide opportunities for exposure to infection. Overcrowding, poor sanitation, slums, all these things, they will attribute, they will contribute for this opportunity for the exposure of the infection. Environmental factor, the period of communicability. What is the period of communicability? The cases are most infectious, they are mostly infectious 7 to 10 days before and 7 to 10 days after the onset of the symptoms. 7 to 10 days before and 1 week before and 1 week after the onset of symptoms. 1 week before and 1 week after the onset of symptoms. Let it be 10 days. 10 days. In feces, the virus is excreted commonly for 2 to 3 weeks. The person who is harboring, the child who is harboring this polio virus in their intestine tract, they will excrete this virus through feces for 2 to 3 weeks, sometimes as long as 3 to 4 months also. 3 to 4 months also. That's why I told the feces of children, that is more dangerous. Mode of transmission, it is fecal-oral route. Fecal-oral route. Feces to the intestinal tract through oral route, that is through mouth. This is the main route of transmission in developing countries. The infection may spread directly through the contaminated fingers, where hygiene is poor. That's why the health education, hygiene, everything must be taught from early school life. Or indirectly through contaminated water. That may be through fingers or contaminated water, contaminated milk, contaminated foods, flies, and articles of daily use. Droplet infection. As we have previously told, this oropharyngeal, there also the virus stagnates. So it occurs in acute stage where the virus is in the throat. Droplet infection is also there. Incubation period, it is usually 7 to 14 days. 7 to 14 days is the incubation period for polio virus, and it may range from 3 days to 35 days. 3 days to 35 days. Clinical features of polio. What are the clinical features of polio? Now coming to the clinical features. Pathogenesis. Virus multiplies in the epithelial cells of the alimentary canal. The virus, polio virus, it multiplies in the epithelial cells of the alimentary canal, lymphatic tissues, lymph nodes, bloodstream, minor or primary viremia. It's called primary viremia. Then multiplies in reticuloendothelial cells, the bloodstream, major secondary viremia. This is called secondary viremia. Direct neural transmission. Tonsillectomy, when you conduct the tonsillectomy in the period of epidemics, what will happen? Directly neural transmission will occur. Neural transmission. From alimentary tract, it transmits to the central nervous system we have discussed earlier. In that way, the tonsillectomy gives way for this neural transmission, direct transmission. In CNS, it multiplies in neurons and destroys them. It destroys the neurons. Lessons mostly in anterior horn cells of spinal cord. Anterior horn cells of the spinal cord causing flaccid paralysis. It is called flaccid paralysis. Posterior and internal columns may also be involved. In some cases, encephalitis occurs involving the brainstem. Few cases, this may cause encephalitis and occurring involving the brainstem, motor and premotor areas also, motor and premotor areas. So primarily it is the elementary, it enters through the alimentary tract, but it may affect central nervous system and cause disastrous, the dangerous situation in the child. Inapparent infection occurs in 95% of the poliovirus infections. 95% of the cases, it is inapparent. It will not be seen. Nobody notices. But that child will be having infection. There are no presenting symptoms, but virus can be isolated if you isolate from the feces of that boy or the throat swabs. We can isolate the virus. Presenting symptoms, but minor illness corresponds to the stage of viremia. Minor illness. This is inapparent, minor, and major. Three types. Inapparent 95%, and almost the 4 to 4.5% is minor. Only 1% is major illness. Characterized by lassitude, tiredness, fever for 1 to 2 days. In this polio, there may be a history of fever for 1 to 2 days with sore throat, upper respiratory infection, headache, but it will be cleared within 2 to 3 days, within which time he will approach the medical shop or a quack, and it will go unseen, or it is hidden and it is progressing. Major illness, it has got 2 stages. The major illness has got 2 stages, pre-paralytic and paralytic. Pre-paralytic stage and paralytic stage. Pre-paralytic stage symptoms, meningitic symptoms, symptoms due to meningitis, headache, fever, malaise, vomiting. As you know, as the meningitis occurs, the vomiting may be there, headache will be there, fever will be there, malaise will be there, and necrosity will be there, Kernick sign will be positive, and then pain and spasm of the limbs, pain and spasm of the limbs. Neck rigidity is present and necessary for diagnosis. Neck rigidity. One of the following signs can be elicited. The symptoms are different from signs, as you know. 3 signs, not all the 3, any one of them may be present. It can be elicited in that polio case. Tripod sign means the child sits like a tripod. Kiss the knee test. I think in the clinics it might have been demonstrated. Kiss the knee test, head drop sign. Tripod, kiss the knee test, and head drop sign. These 3 signs, among these 3, if any one is present also, it can be considered. Paralytic stage, characterized by spinal form. Paralysis of the spinal muscles occurs suddenly, manifests as muscle pain. It manifests as muscle pain, tremors, hyperesthesia. It is painful. Anesthesia means no pain, no sensation. Hyperesthesia will be there. Diminished deep tendon reflexes, followed by flaccid paralysis. You please understand. Paralysis of the spinal muscles occurs suddenly. It manifests as muscle pain, tremors, hyperesthesia, diminished deep tendon reflexes, followed by flaccid paralysis. Distribution of paralyzed muscles is asymmetrical. It is not symmetrical. It is not equal on both the sides. Distribution of the paralyzed muscles is asymmetrical. Paralysis of diaphragm muscles and respiratory difficulty may occur, and it may lead to death. paralysis of the diaphragm. The respiratory muscles, the diaphragm and the intercostal muscles, if they paralyze, what will happen? The respiratory difficulty, the dyspnea, and the death. Transitory urinary retention and constipation due to autonomic involvement. Urinary retention, if a child complains of fever for 2 days and urinary retention, constipation like that, you must think of this polio also. Urinary retention and constipation due to autonomic involvement. Bulbar and bulbospinal forms. Less than 10% of the paralytic poliomyelitis, it occurs in less than 10%. It is only less than 10%. Paralysis of vagus. Paralysis of vagus. What will happen if the vagus is paralyzed? Weakness of soft palate. Vagus supplies to the soft palate. Pharynx and vocal cords. Weakness of the soft palate, pharynx and vocal cords. Breathing and swallowing becomes difficult. Breathing and swallowing. If you see the soft palate is paralyzed, this pharynx, vocal cords, the swallowing is difficult, breathing is difficult, even talking is difficult. Vocal cords are also gone. Paralysis of respiratory center. Paralysis of respiratory center causes respiration becomes shallow and irregular. Respiration becomes shallow respiration and irregular. Vasomotor center, if it is affected, it causes changes in the pulse and blood pressure. Vasomotor center causes changes in the pulse as well as blood pressure. Skin, the skin becomes dusky and mottled. Patients are restless. The skin becomes dusky and mottled. Patients are restless, anxious, and may become confused, delirious, and comatose. The skin also, if the skin is involved, then dusky skin, mottled skin, patients are restless, anxious, and they may become confused, delirious, and comatose. See this one. Muscles commonly weakened by polio. Shoulder muscles, muscles beyond the arm, muscles behind the arm, weakness, straightening of the arm, weakness in straightening the arm. You see, back muscles, either side of the backbone. This thumb and thumb muscles. So the thumb will go into flexion. Contractures causing tight cords. Muscles that straighten knee, they will become weak. So he cannot lift his leg when sitting on a chair or on a table or on a bench. He cannot lift it. So muscles that lift the foot, they are weakened. So foot drop. While walking, he is dragging his own foot. And muscles that straighten and bend the hip, those are also affected. So he cannot flex the hip also. Differential diagnosis, asymptomatic meningitis, the aseptic meningitis, it is not septic meningitis, it is aseptic meningitis. Infective polioneuritis, this is called Guillain-Barré syndrome. Guillain-Barré syndrome. Guillain-Barré syndrome. Infective polioneuritis, Guillain-Barré syndrome. Severe hypokalemia, the potassium levels decreases. The potassium levels in the blood, they are decreased. Post-diphtheric paralysis. Transverse myelitis. Transverse myelitis, if it occurs at the lower half of the body, it will go into paralysis, and there is no control over urinary output, that is excretion of the urine to the outside, and feces also. Those will have no, there will not be any control over them. Transverse myelitis, and then botulism and pseudoparalysis also may occur. Laboratory diagnosis, virus isolation by the tissue culture, specimens, blood, cerebrospinal fluid, throat swab, and feces. This will be sent for this culture, tissue culture. The specimens are blood, cerebrospinal fluid, throat swab, and feces. Mainly the feces in the acute flaccid paralysis survey, we will take the feces of the child, a thumb size feces, and they will send it in cold chain system, reverse cold chain system to the laboratory for the culture and isolation culture of this virus. Specimens inoculated into the tissue culture, primary monkey kidney, okay, this is all you are experts in this. Growth is indicated by cytopathic effects in 2 to 3 days by neutralization. Serodiagnosis is less often employed. Demonstration in paired sera by neutralization of CF test. And then prognosis. Outcome varies with form and site affected. What is the form of this paralysis and what is the site affected? Spinal cord and brain, if not affected, complete recovery is possible. Spinal cord and brain, if they are not involved, if they are not affected, complete recovery is possible. Post-paralytic, post-polio paralysis, residual paralysis, that is the permanently they will have. Post-polio paralysis, residual paralysis. Brain spinal cord involvement is a medical emergency. Brain or spinal cord involvement is a medical emergency and it is dangerous. Complications, spread of infection to non-immunized, spread of infection to the non-immunized children. This is a complication. And the complication means that is the complication for that family, for that individual. Permanent muscle paralysis, pulmonary edema, shock, complications of immobility and respiratory involvement, and finally aspiration pneumonia. High blood pressure, urinary tract infection, kidney stones, paralytic ileus, myocarditis, and cor pulmonale. Treatment, coming to treatment, goal of the treatment is to control the symptoms while infection runs its course. The infection runs in its own course, but we have to control the symptoms. Life-saving measures, particularly assistance with the breathing and in severe cases, when the respiratory muscles are involved, when the brain is involved, when the spinal cord is involved, then we have to actively give the treatment. In addition to that, rest in bed, relief of pain, neutral positioning of the limbs, neutral positioning of the limbs, that is important. Physiotherapy, rehabilitation of the patients. Physiotherapy, we have to take up this rehabilitation of the patients by giving physiotherapy, braces, this corrective shoes. Orthopedic surgery may be necessary to maximize the recovery. The post-polio paralysis for those patients, the surgery, by doing this surgery, we can give optimum useful limb. Orthopedic surgeries will be done for them. Post-polio syndrome. It is a condition affects polio survivors 10 to 40 years after the initial attack. Please mind it. It is a condition affects the polio survivors 10 to 40 years after the initial attack, characterized by weakening of the muscles previously affected. The symptoms being fatigue, progressive muscle weakness, muscle atrophy, joint pains, skeletal deformities like scoliosis. These are the post-polio syndrome. I think your brain is exhausted. We cannot receive much. It is already too much. Causes of PPS, okay. This we will discuss in the next class. Recovery process, prevention. Okay, the prevention part we will take in the next class. I think it is our brain has exhausted its receiving capacity. Okay. Now let us stop at this level. The prevention aspect we will take in another class, and the national program will be taken in another class. Okay, program will be taken separately, prevention and these things. Now let us share our ideas. Eh, Chart room. Nobody. Well, my dear friends, any sharing of the ideas? How many? I think, has anybody seen the case of polio? Anybody has seen the case of polio? You please answer in chat box. Has anybody seen the case of polio? Me. Yes, that is 100. Good. What is the age of that person? What is the age of the person you have seen? Age 25 to 30. That means before 95, 90 to 95, 1990 to 1995. Am I right? Date of birth. Yeah. In 95, we have started this pulse polio program. From then, it is decreasing in numbers. The severity has come down. That's why, okay, this is fitting into that. Anybody seen the people less than 25 years, less than, okay, 20 years, 95 to 2000, we have got cases, but in less number. Up to 2011, we have got. Anybody have seen a child of 10 years having polio symptoms or post-polio paralysis, post-polio residual paralysis? Less than 10 years. Less than 10 years. That is the success of pulse polio program. I think some of you might have participated in pulse polio program also. Pulse polio also we'll discuss in the next class. Anybody has seen a child less than 10 years with polio? Nobody. Good. You cannot see because the last case was in 2011. So you cannot see. Anything to share? Anything to share? Anything to share? Please come forward. Today is 23rd, I think. After 6 days, what is the specialty? after 6 days or 7 days? What is the specialty of the day after 7 days? Anybody answer? Anybody please answer? What is that specialty day after 7 days? Special day. Very good. Doctor's Day. Why it has declared as Doctor's Day? July 1st is Doctor's Day in India. Why it was declared? Yes, good. Doctor's Day. 015107. Very good. Why we are conducting on July 1st? That was the birthday and death day of Dr. B.C. Roy. Oh, okay, very good, very good. 129. It is the birth and death, both occurred on the same day. He was the Chief Minister for West Bengal and has brought so many changes in health, and public health system was developed in Kolkata due to him. Rockefeller Foundation, all those people have come to Kolkata and they have established public health activities there. Public health college is there. For his on death day, because it happened to be the birthday, our President of India, Radhakrishnan, went to greet him all the way from Delhi to Kolkata to greet B.C. Roy. Morning, he has greeted. After that, every day, 11 to 12, 1 hour, he used to do free practice for the patients, free practice to the patients, free service, medical service. He has done it. The President of India and all those people were taking rest. In the meanwhile, by 2:30 or 3, a message has come that B.C. Roy is no more. On the same birthday, he died on the same day. And the President of India who came to greet for his birthday witnessed the death day and waited for this funeral also. That is the greatness of B.C. Roy. Good, my dear friends. On his name, we are honoring the senior most doctors on that day. Anywhere you are at your places, it is your opportunity to honor the doctor who has given you treatment in previous years, in your last 18 years. Any doctor who has given you treatment, you go and give a flower and honor him with greet him a happy Doctor's Day. They will feel happy. Okay, let us celebrate in that way. Wherever you are, you go to your doctor, you go to the doctor who has treated you, or whom you think as role model, or on whom you are having belief and everything, respect. You go to the doctor and greet him, at least by words, though not with bouquet, though not with fruits. Just greet him orally. Happy Doctor's Day, like that. You imagine how much happy he will feel. This is not the crores of money what we earn. It is this gratitude. This gratitude makes him happy. The same thing you will receive in your future. Whatever we give, we will receive it. If you don't do anything, you don't receive anything. So if you do good, you will receive good. Please, July 1st, all of you are very good students. You please observe that. Okay. Thank you very much. Let us stop at this. Thank you.